Hello everyone, it's lovely to be here. My name is Mark Ritson. Google and Facebook now have to move into video for various strategic reasons. And when they do that, you are about to encounter a tsunami of horseshit. A tsunami is coming your way, trust me. Worse than anything we've ever seen before in marketing, okay? Now, you've already seen the tsunami starting to appear in media. The IAB reports huge rise in digital video, claims that it beats regular TV. The landscape of media buying has changed. Digital advertising beats traditional advertising. And of course, YouTube killed the TV star. How online video is replacing TV. This is the bullshit you may have actually believed. It's all bullshit. Total bullshit. And you get reports like this from Google. It's a fine piece of research. It just misses a couple of things helpfully out. So this is the online video in Canada viewing report. And it shows you how Canadians are watching video in 2015. And what you see is a nuanced picture. Canadians are watching it on their laptops, on their TVs, on tablets, and on smartphones. So kind of, TV's there, but it's part now of a mix. Does anyone spot what's wrong with this piece of data? Or rather, if you Google, what's right with it? Why does TV look to have such a low penetration? Anyone worked it out? Why are people watching more video on their laptops than on TV? It's online video only, see? Just the online part. Not all video, just online. If you put all video in, look what happens to TV. 27.5 hours per week of TV for the average Canadian, and suddenly these numbers look piss poor, right? A tsunami of bullshit. At this point, you're like, but that can't be true because TV's definitely dying. Everyone's told me TV's dying. The stupid media here has said it. Even some of the fucking TV channels have said it. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And Google and Facebook have certainly said it, right? Well, here's the data. Just simple people meter data. You ready? Try, if you're in the cult, just for a second, look at the data. See what that says? It says 27.5 hours per week for the average Canadian viewer, okay? Per capita, thank you. That means it's 11 times more than their weekly PVR playback, 9 times more than Netflix, and 15 times more than the time they spent watching YouTube. You can challenge the data, do your own people meter research. You'll find the same thing, okay? You don't have this data in Canada, but we do the same survey in Australia in a more detailed way. We measure every quarter in a company called OzTam all video. Online, real, everything. The average Australian is not that different from the average Canadian. They watch about 101 hours of video in a typical month, okay? Now, that video means anything, okay? It can be TV, it can be PVR stuff, it can be Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, digital films, DVDs, Apple TV, everything. Any moving image on video, we include it in the survey, okay? Here's what we discovered in 2016. The average Australian watches 3% of their video on a tablet. 4% on a smartphone, 8.5% on a PC or laptop, and the remaining 84.3% on a television. 84%. Australians will watch 84% of all video on a TV set last year. This year, it appears to be about the same. Now, at this point, you might again be looking at that going, that doesn't sound right to me, not compared to Canada. And you might think, well, Australia's a pretty basic place, right? G'day, mate, my mate's a crocodile, we don't really fucking live in the 21st century, right? You might be thinking that right now about Australia. So let me share with you some data from other countries, including Australia, because you know what it turns out, that 80-90% mark, it turns out to be true for almost every developed economy on the planet. It's just that no one likes to talk about it. Let's go on a bit of a world tour, and I'll share with you data from 15 or 16 annual data showing what proportion of video is watched on a TV. You ready? I gotta get psyched up for it. Digital video is like much bigger than TV. Now, where did you get that idea from? Oh, I know, the people that run the big digital companies. Sheryl Sandberg pitches TV ad dollars. We have a Super Bowl on mobile every day. Sure you do. Eric Schmidt, 5 years ago, YouTube is already bigger than TV. Sure it is. Sure it is. The problem isn't them saying it. They're selling digital advertising. The problem is you guys believe in that shit for a second. It's nonsense. Which line is longer, A or B? They're both the same, right? We've attempted to make one look longer than the other by changing the way it's presented, right? It's a simple optical illusion. It's much easier when you present the lines in the same way. And then it's obvious they're the same, right? That's how we do TV audience measurement. We present it apples to apples. That's what Nielsen have been doing for the last 50 years. We measure everything in the same way so you can see which program has better reach and so on. You would have thought that when we started selling digital video audiences, we would have kept the old apples to apples metric. But there's a problem then, right? Because if we do that, you'll discover how infinitesimally small they are. So we don't need an apples to apples metric. What we need is, I don't know, an apples to giant refrigerators metric, yeah? So no one can work out what total bullshit is attached to digital views, and we can sell loads of it to clients and get away with bullshit like you've just seen on the previous slide. I come from Melbourne. We had the Melbourne Open. You may have seen it on TV. This came out this morning. This is the results of Channel 7 that broadcast the Melbourne Open. They broadcast it on TV and also as a digital view. Which got the better audience? The digital or the TV version? Which one had the bigger pull? Do you know? Yeah, me neither. Can't fucking work it out. That's the point. Yeah? How on earth are we supposed to make sense of any of this? It's nonsense. Let me try and do it for you with a couple of famous examples. So, a couple of years ago, Soccer World Cup in Brazil, ESPN had both the TV rights and the digital rights. And at the end of the tournament, which is 30 days long, ESPN announced the results. An audience of 4.6 million watched the World Cup on TV, and 115 million watched it digitally. And everyone went, oh, well, that's it. Proof. TV's fucked, and digital will take over the world. Pause and poke a little bit. That 4.6 is an average per minute audience. That's how we've been measuring audiences for 30 years. At any point during the game, all the 30 days of football, the average number of people watching the game was 4.6 million. That 115 million, that's the Atanarajurat horseshit that you saw earlier, right? 50%, 2 seconds. Now, you see that once, you're in my audience, my friend. You scan through your phone on a Tuesday morning, catch some guy running down a green pitch, you're in there. You're in the 115. This is clearly not an apples-to-apples comparison. If I take the 115 million and turn it into a TV audience, a per-minute audience, you know what I get? I get 300,000 views. Yeah. 7%. That's what that is. 7%. Now, that's not insignificant, but it ain't the future of video either. Yeah? Now, what happens if I take that 4.6 million and turn it into a digital view? Alas, I cannot calculate that. But I can tell you, last year, the network behind The People versus O.J. Simpson announced that the TV show had been a massive success in America with a 12.6 million per minute audience, and they translated it into a digital view of 259 billion. It's bullshit. But no one calls it out. No one calls it out. Let me give you another. The Rio Olympics, remember? The first digital Olympics. Canadian press were all over this. Lazy, lazy journalism. TV's fucked. No one's watching TV live anymore. Everyone's watching it digitally. NBC Universal's Olympic upset. Streaming trumps TV. It trumps TV. Rio ratings are hurting. They're way, way down. TV is dead. Digital is alive. Let me share with you what happened in Australia. Huh? Channel 7 had the rights to the Rio Olympics, okay? This is how many total audience minutes during the 2-week Olympics happened. 325 million minutes of watching it on digital, 68 million on social, and 20.7 billion on TV. That's billion, not million. If you're missing a statistical representation, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. How is that possible? That's last summer. The digital Olympics, yeah? People are watching TV. 98% of them watch the games on TV. Now, again, you're saying to me, that's because Australia is a backwater filled with 20th century idiots that have friends who are crocodiles. And you may be right. So let's move to America, where, as you probably know, because they're your colonial cousins, NBC had the rights to it in the United States. Guess what proportion of the audience watched the Olympics digitally in America? The same, 3%. when you calculate it properly without the bullshit. And the guy in charge of it, the VC guy in charge of it, Ian Bell, said he was shocked to see digital was just 3% of viewing. I wasn't. 2 questions. Why is the number so small? Why has no one told you this in Canada? Just a bunch of bullshit about TV audiences in decline and digital taking over. 3%. There are 2 sides to this terrible story. Yeah? The first point is the miscommunication that TV is dying, and the other part is that digital video is the future. Neither of which are true. Real ratings weren't hurting in Canada this year or last year, nor was streaming trumping TV. In fact, at least according to the channel that had it here, the Canadian Stars drew a record Olympic viewership on TV this year. But no one wants to tell that story because it doesn't fit the propaganda. Let's end with NFL and Twitter, the biggest facade of them all. Do you follow this last year? NFL are going to Twitter, and the verdict? The live stream reaches 2 million viewers, a resounding success. Refrigerators to apples. NFL Thursday Night Football, Twitter is a hit. The NFL, Twitter's kingmaker. Let me tell you about the kingmaker that was the NFL courage, the 10 games that went on Twitter. You ready? Third-party published data. No walled gardens, published data. You ready? 2 million viewers was total digital views. You know the Atana bullshit? That's what they were publicizing. You know what the actual per-minute audience was on Twitter? 265,000 people. How does that stack up versus the TV? Because they were also broadcasting it. Well, NBC averaged 15 million people for games during those 10 games. Again, if you struggle with statistics, that's 98.5 chose to watch it on a TV, not on a digital device, even though it was free and available. Now, let's look at the other data. How much these dumb marketers paid to go on digital. You ready? This is published data from the Wall Street Journal. How do you like these apples? The brands paid $250,000 for a 30-second spot on Twitter. The brands could have paid $550,000 for a 30-second spot on NBC. CPM, anyone? Anyone? Yeah, 27 times for the Twitter spot. 27 times for the future. Huh? As one of the advertisers said anonymously later to the Wall Street Journal, the client was expecting its commercials to be viewed 3 times by the average viewer, but the average viewer saw the ad only once. The problem is the audience is good, but it's not TV good. And that's where the expectations game may have burned some advertisers. Demonstrate the point. Let's watch a movie. I'm going to cancel the rest of the conference. I've got permission, sort of. We're going to cancel everything. You're going to sit tight. We're in a cinema. Let's watch a movie. Now, we're in TIFF, right? So what movie should we watch? We should watch the best movie ever in the history of Canada. TIFF did a bit of research in 2015, and the best movie in Canada is Atana. I don't know, right? Atana, the Fast Runner, right? Apparently that's your best movie, okay? According to TIFF. So let's watch Atana, okay? Sit back. We'll send out some popcorn. Enjoy the movie, okay? I should point out, though, this is the special digital views edition, okay? All right, let's enjoy. Did you enjoy that? I really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy that? That's a digital view, didn't you know? 2 seconds. That's all it takes. That ad that you've been sold, 2 seconds. That's all it takes, and then that's officially a digital view, and you're in. You're a viewer. That's how we're measuring it. That's the global standard, according to Mark Pritchard, the MRC Council. 2 seconds of a video, and you're in the viewer box. But you know what? I'm still thinking I overdid that and did probably a little bit of an over-promotion of digital views, because 85% of digital video on Facebook is watched without sound, and there was clearly the sound of someone strangling a dog, right, in that clip there. So what we should do is watch it again, this time more realistically, without any sound. You ready? Do enjoy Atana for a second time. Stunning, stunning, stunning. But you know, I'm still being a little bit too fair on digital video. You're getting the whole screen. That's totally not what fucking happens for real, right? You don't just get 2 seconds. You only have to get 50% of the pixels. You don't need the whole screen to be a viewer. Clearly, right? So really, I'm being unrealistic. So what we really do, third time for Atana. This time, what I'm going to do, if I can, let me see if I got that. Yes, that'll work fine. There we go. There it is. How was it the third time? I enjoyed it more the third time, I think, right? I know it appears to be just two dogs copulating on the stove, but you know. You know what? I'm still not happy with myself. I still feel like I'm not being realistic. You're all so very human. That's not how digital video works. Some of you are going to be bots. Many of you are going to be bots. I mean, the best estimate I've got right now is from the Fraud and Advertising report. About a quarter of you are going to be bots. So if you don't mind, please indulge me. If I can take anyone who's sitting in the first 6 rows, if you don't mind for this final, the last time, if you just mind just putting your hands over your eyes, I want you to represent the bots, okay? Because about a quarter of the audience are bots. If you don't mind, just do that for me. No one will grab your boobs or anything, I promise. Okay, do that. Okay, with the bots in the room not looking, you can't look, you're a bot. Here it is, one last time, a digital version. Oh, I've got to move it over there, I've got to turn the sound off. Got my bots. Let's go. There it is. Let's pause for a minute, because one of the things that's most offensive in this discussion about digital is, listen, I don't watch TV anymore. And by the way, neither do my kids. On what planet does that horseshit survive among empirical marketers? The first thing you should have been taught on a marketing course is market orientation, day 1 of the class. You are not the customer. The data tells you about the customer. And the data tells you that marketers are not like average Canadian customers. I don't have the data for Canada. Here's the UK data. It will be very similar. Yeah? Last year, ThinkBox did a piece of research in the UK looking at typical advertisers and which social media platforms they belong to. And then they compared it to average British consumers. Now, you should go, oh, yeah, because that's you, right? Here's what the average consumer looks like. See the difference? Now, that's not a problem as long as you're well-trained and you understand you're not the customer. That you're over here, very digital, blah, 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 not watching TV, not over here, yeah? But I doubt many marketers are remembering this point about market orientation. And the proof is, the guys at ThinkBox did a very smart thing. They asked a representative sample of marketers to guess how British consumers behaved. They asked them, for example, on an average day, how long does the average consumer spend on YouTube? You know what the average British marketer said? Oh, I think it's about an hour and 2 minutes. You know what the answer is, based on people meter data? 16 minutes. Oh, close, you know. Second screen. What proportion of viewing is done second screen of TV? Now, guess what the number is, because I know what you're going to say. You're going to say 50%. That's what all marketers say. You know what the data is based on people meters and diaries and ethnography, not asking people? 19%. 19%. You see the problem? You all think you're the customers. And you're missing the point that the customers are actually the customers, and they don't believe how. Watch out for the multi-screen multiple. It's the next step in the digital tsunami of bullshit. Okay, they're watching TV, but really, they're watching their phone. Watch that number rise over the next 3 years.